I saw you turn off the light in the room, but the light in your mind remained on, casting shadows of uncertainty over tomorrow. I saw your trembling hands holding that paper, trying to add up what doesn't add up, trying to subtract the pain of a bill that insists on being greater than your strength. You've spent sleepless nights, drawing routes, calculating exits, trying to anticipate every stumble. But today I stopped everything just to tell you that my plans are much higher than your best calculations. If you feel that life has taken you down a path you didn't choose, if human logic has failed and the silence of heaven seemed too heavy, know that you didn't click on this video by chance. This is our appointed meeting. Why is it that, even with all your effort, the pieces still don't seem to fit? There's a secret I've kept to reveal to you until the end of this message, something that will change the way you look at your future. Just as I have stated in my word, that my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, I want to show you today that my mathematics knows no limits. If the touch of my voice is reaching the depths of your soul now, let me know that you are listening. Tell me your name, from what part of this world you are following me, and what time the clock hands show in your house now. I want you to let your heart overflow here below, writing as a sincere cry, "My Lord and my God, I am here. I signed up because I love you and my heart thirsts to hear your voice. Stay with me until the last second, for I have a clear answer for the knot that tightens your chest. At the end, I will whisper a specific phrase to your spirit, a key to victory that you must write to seal the prophetic blessings that I am releasing upon your life today. I know the weight of your responsibilities. I saw the weariness in your eyes as you made that coffee alone in the kitchen, feeling like the whole world depends on you. But no one seems to notice that you also need comfort. You try to be strong for your children, for your family, for your work, but in the privacy of your room the tears are silent. You calculated that by this point in your life everything would be resolved, that love would be a safe haven, and that your finances would be at peace, but the numbers didn't match reality. Don't feel like a failure for not being in control of everything. The trembling in your hands when opening a message or an account isn't a sign of lack of faith, it's a sign that you're human. And it is precisely in your weakness that my power is perfected. You are trying to solve a three-dimensional problem while I govern in all eternity. While you count the coins, I count the hairs on your head. While you dread the end of the month, I have already prepared your next year. You wouldn't understand if I told you yesterday, but today your heart is ready to understand that my no was, in fact, a not yet full of protection. You feel the road is blocked, but I am only changing your destiny to something your calculations could never imagine. What I am silently preparing is so great that your current logic could not bear it. For it is written, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Isaiah 55, 8-9. Are you ready to release the weight of that emotional calculator and rest in my arms? If what I have said so far has made sense to your soul, leave your sign of gratitude and join this family of faith. Share this light with that person who also can't sleep because of life's calculations. What do you fear most will get out of your control today? Write in the comments your surrender. I rest. But I haven't yet shown you everything I saw while you were praying, and the real reason behind this silence that frightens you so much. Your calculations suggested that at this point in your life, the sun should have already risen on that dream you planted with so much sacrifice. According to your calculations, the time of suffering should have ended. The debts should have given way to abundance, and that empty space in the living room armchair should have been filled. You look at the clock on the wall, and the ticking sounds like a hammer striking your expectations. Your logic is precise. You gave your best, you were faithful. You bent over almost to the point of breaking, so the response should be immediate. But instead of the sound of victory, what you heard was the echo of my silence. I know this silence hurts. I saw you sit at the kitchen table in the middle of the night, your feet feeling the cold ceramic floor, staring at a cold cup of coffee, trying to understand where your math went wrong. You wonder if I've forgotten you or if I've missed the address of your blessing. The silence feels like a bronze barrier between your prayers and my throne. But let me tell you something your human logic could never process. My silence is not absence. It is my deepest way of working on what you cannot yet see. while you try to calculate the time remaining, I am recalculating the structure of your soul so that it can bear the weight of the glory to come. If I were to deliver what you ask for now, based solely on your logic, you would have what you desire, but you would not have the strength to keep it. You are focused on the outcome of the calculation, but I am focused on the person you are becoming while you wait. I saw your frustration at seeing people who do not have your faith prospering while you struggle to keep your head above water. Your mind says this is unfair, but my kingdom does not operate by earthly merits, but by eternal purposes. For it is written in my word, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Isaiah 40:31. Notice that I didn't say the wait would be short, but that in it you would receive wings. Your logic wants firm ground, but I want to teach you to fly above the storms that frighten you today. That feeling that heaven is closed is only the shadow of my hand protecting you from a collision that your calculations did not foresee. You think you are standing still, but I am moving you to a position of honor that requires a heart that has learned to trust, without needing to understand all the variables. Can you feel this peace that surpasses understanding, trying to enter your chest now, even in the midst of uncertainty? Before we move forward, I want to make an intimate request. If your heart has already felt that it needed this shock of divine reality today, show that you are connected to this channel of light. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle to your trust in me right now? Write this statement of surrender in the comments. I feel your action. But now I need you to pay close attention, because the next step in our conversation involves something you surrendered a long time ago and that I have never forgotten. Something that is about to bear fruit in a way that will require a courageous decision on your part. Daughter, as I speak to your spirit, I feel your heart beating faster, as if you are beginning to understand that control has never been in your hands, but in mine. There is a gesture of love that breaks the barriers of logic and opens the floodgates of heaven, gratitude expressed in seeds. I see it when you look at how little you have and wonder how you can be generous in the midst of your own struggle. But it is precisely there in the valley of decision that your faith becomes concrete. If it is possible for you, only if it is possible, transform your gratitude into a seed of love for this channel, which is an arm of my voice on earth. Consider my love and that of my Son, Jesus, and contribute using the link in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. There, you will find the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. Do not look at the value with human eyes, for I see the intention. You can contribute any amount you wish. If your heart feels you should offer something different, just type what you feel. And remember, only what fits in your heart, with joy. I receive each offering with a love that the world does not know. It doesn't matter the size of the seed. What matters is the heart with which you give. For what is little to you can be much to the one who receives. Those who contribute any amount, moved by a sincere heart, please remember to include your name and city with your contribution. On the first day of next month, I will ensure your name is remembered and mentioned in gratitude in a unique and special video on our channel Divine Love, the Voice of God. Crucify, covered by divine blessings released in prayer. For it is written, "And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. Every offering made in faith is a seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear fruit. I see in secret and reward in the sight of all. Stay until the end of this message, because I still want to touch your heart with my voice, revealing the draft that I transform into glory. If this call touched your soul, leave your sign of love by liking this message and sharing it with someone who needs a miracle in provision. What are you giving to me today? Write in the comments your answer of faith. I am yours. But don't think that what I have to show you ends with financial provision. There is a design I made of your life that you called a mistake, but that I call art. You look at the marks of erasure in the story of your life and see only failures. You see that draft of a marriage that didn't work out, that page stained by a business that went bankrupt, or the crooked line of a dream that you abandoned halfway through because the numbers didn't add up. For you, these are smudges that spoiled the final painting, miscalculations that make you feel that your life is a meaningless patchwork quilt. But I want you to stop now and look through my eyes. In my studio, there are no mistakes, only stages of a masterpiece that is not yet ready to be revealed to the world. I saw when you pressed the pen so hard against the paper that it almost tore, trying to redraw a destiny that seemed to be slipping through your hands. I felt the tremor in your fingers as you leafed through old photographs, feeling the weight of, what if it had been different? You think your years of pain were wasted time, but I was using each of those lines to create depth and contrast. A painting without shadows has no soul, and your soul has a depth that only tears could sculpt. I am the architect who uses even the rubble to build something new and indestructible. Do you remember that night when the silence of the house seemed to scream all your flaws? Where the smell of brewed coffee was the only company while you wondered where you went so wrong. At that moment, I was taking your pieces and uniting them with the gold of my grace. You see the rough draft, I see the finished work. You see the fall, I see the impulse for flight. Where you placed a period of defeat, I placed a comma of hope, for it is written in my word, through the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 18, verse 4, "And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again into another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it." Understand, my daughter, that the vessel broke in my hand. It did not fall by chance. It was molded and remade according to my sovereign will. If your life seems broken today, it is because I am preparing the clay into a shape that can withstand the blessings that your limited calculations could not foresee. Do not discard your past, and do not curse your rough draft days. They are the foundation of the authority you will have to heal other women who are now experiencing what you have already overcome. You are not a mistake. You are a project planned before the foundation of the world, and not a single line of your story will be wasted by my hand. If you feel that your life is being remade by the potter right now, leave your sign of fellowship. Enjoy this encounter and register, so you don't miss any step of this restoration. What in your life did you feel was a mistake, but now realize was a mold from God? Write in the comments the word of your transformation, masterpiece. But now I need to invite you to something that will accompany you when this video ends and the lights go out, a gift I prepared for your most lonely days. I see that the weight of carrying tomorrow on your shoulders has left you exhausted, my daughter. You try to calculate each step so as not to fall, but the weariness in your eyes reveals that your soul needs more than just plans. It needs constant companionship. Sometimes the noise of the world and the urgency of your bills drown out my whisper, and you feel lost between what you planned and what you are experiencing now. That is why, in this moment of rebuilding your hope, I want to offer you something for the days when the path seems too dark or too lonely. If your heart desires to go deeper into my presence and learn to hear my voice in the midst of the storm, I have prepared for you a gift in the form of a journey. Something I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was created to be your daily nourishment, a remedy for the anxious soul, and a compass of peace for your heart, accompanying you day after day in the silence of your intimacy with me. Access to this treasure is in the link in the description of this video and also in the first pinned comment. But listen carefully to what your Father tells you. If today is not possible for you, do not allow the shadow of guilt to reach you. Remain here with me, for I will continue to sustain you and speak to you through this message, so that your soul may rest and your thoughts may not be confused. Know that everything is very simple. Soon after you register, access will arrive directly in the email you registered with all the correct instructions, explained step by step, to begin this journey of light by my side. For it is written, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed." Proverbs 16:3. I don't want you to walk alone for another second. I want you to feel, upon waking, my hand holding yours, reminding you that my plans for your life have already been drawn up for victory. Take a deep breath now. Feel the peace entering your lungs, and release all the tension you've carried until now. The journey continues, and what I will reveal to you next about the time you think you've lost will finally allow your soul to find the rest it so desperately seeks. Will you accept walking hand in hand with me every day? If this word has found a place in your heart, leave your sign of love and join us on this journey of faith. What do you most need to surrender into my hands today? Write your decision in the comments. Guide my steps. But have you ever stopped to think why? So many times. I stopped the clock of your life exactly when you were most in a hurry. There is a sacred reason for your delays. You look at the clock on the wall and feel that it is your greatest enemy. You count the years that have passed, the opportunities that seem to have slipped through your fingers, and that bitter feeling that your time is running out. By your calculations, you should already be somewhere else, reaping other fruits, living a reality very different from the one that surrounds you today. You look in the mirror and notice the small marks around your eyes, silent witnesses of a seemingly endless wait, and you ask yourself, why did the Lord stop my clock? I saw your haste. I saw when you tried to accelerate processes, force doors, and anticipate arrivals, believing that happiness lay in the final destination. But what you call delay, I call preservation. If I had allowed your clock to run at the speed of your anxiety, you would have arrived at your desired place, but with an empty soul and without the structure to remain. I stopped the clock to teach you that time is not something you lose, but something I use to mature you. Many times my waiting was my way of hiding you from storms you didn't even know were brewing on the horizon. If you had moved forward in that relationship, if you had closed that deal, or if you had received that answer at the moment your calculations demanded, you would have shipwrecked in waters you weren't yet ready to navigate. I silenced the ticking so that you could hear my voice. In the silence of waiting, I am removing what is temporary to give you what is eternal, for it is written in my word. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Notice that I didn't say that some things have a time, but that everything is under my control. Your time to plant was not in vain, and your time to wait is the guarantee that the harvest will be abundant and secure. My clock doesn't run slow or fast. It ticks to the perfect rhythm of my sovereignty. While you lamented the years you thought you had lost, I was working behind the scenes, preparing the stage for something your eyes have never seen. The weariness you feel today, that weight on your eyelids at the end of each day, is proof that you tried to carry time on your shoulders. But today I invite you to release that burden. Let the Lord of Time take care of every remaining minute. You are not late. You are being prepared for the exact moment of my manifestation. Do you feel that your life has stagnated while everyone around you has moved forward? This question echoing in your chest is the beginning of understanding that your path is unique and sacred. Before we move on to what I have prepared for your table, I want to hear from you. If this clarity about divine timing has brought a sigh of relief to your soul now, share this message with a friend who is constantly racing against time. What do you most want time to change in your life today? Write your declaration of trust in the comments, in your time. But know that while you felt forgotten in that desert of waiting, I was preparing a feast in a place you least expect, something that will leave your enemies speechless. While you wept over the leftovers of your dreams, I was busy preparing a lavish table in a place your logic would never dare to visit. You looked at your pantry, your bank balance, and the empty chair beside you, and concluded through your bitter calculations that scarcity would be your only companion. I saw you sit at the kitchen table, your shoulders heavy and your head in your hands, feeling that unbearable lump in your throat that makes it impossible to even swallow a piece of bread. For you, that moment was a portrait of defeat, but for me it was the perfect setting to manifest my glory. Your vulnerability doesn't push me away, it attracts me. I felt the salt of your tears falling onto the tabletop as you whispered that you couldn't bear trying to make everything work anymore. The pain of feeling invisible, even while doing everything for everyone, is a burden I know well. You calculated that if you gave your blood and sweat, the table would always be full of joy and gratitude, but instead you found silence and incomprehension. You feel as if you are eating the bread of affliction, but I tell you today, I am changing the menu of your life. While your enemies and even those you love expected to see your plate empty, I was anointing your head with the oil of joy. My mathematics multiplies in the desert and makes water spring from the rock. You look at the little you have and fear tomorrow, but I look at your little and see the banquet that will feed generations through your testimony. I am preparing a table of honor, where those who saw you cry will have to contemplate my provision for your house. For it is written in my word, in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." Understand, my daughter, that the table is prepared precisely where there is opposition, where there is pain, and where your calculations tell you that nothing more will happen. The overflowing of your cup does not depend on the economy of this world or the will of the one who hurt you. It depends exclusively on my faithfulness. Do you remember that night when you felt a chill in your soul looking at the bills that didn't add up? At that moment, I was already moving hearts and opening paths that you will only know tomorrow. I saw you wipe your face with the dish towel and try to smile so as not to worry anyone, even with your heart screaming for help. That scene was not forgotten by heaven. Each tear that wet your pillow is a seed that is now beginning to sprout in the form of supernatural provision. Are you ready to sit at the table that I myself decorated with my peace? If you can smell the hope being served in your heart now, don't keep it to yourself. Let this video be an invitation to another woman who is also crying silently in the kitchen. What do you feel is most missing from your table today? Peace, provision, or reconciliation? Write in the comments your acceptance of this divine banquet, my table. But before you get up, I need you to know that what I see beyond your bills and worries goes far beyond what you imagine. There's something about your true worth that you haven't yet understood. You spend hours poring over papers, phone screens, and bank statements, trying to decipher the enigma of your survival. For you, your life boils down to these digits that insist on not adding up, these installments that seem to grow while you shrink. I see when you close your eyes and try to take a deep breath, but the air seems insufficient because your mind is already on the next month, the next crisis, the next due date. But while you focus on what you lack, I am focused on who you are. To the world, perhaps you are just a number in a statistic or a client at a bank, but to me, you are the treasure for which I gave what I had most precious. I see beyond your bank accounts. I see the account of your soul laden with generosity, sacrifices that no one applauded, and prayers offered on behalf of those who didn't even thank you. The weight of the silence in your room, when everyone has gone to sleep and you remain there sitting on the sofa, feeling the cold creep up your legs and the weariness weigh on your shoulders, is the moment when I am closest. You feel small before the mountains of problems, but I see the giant you have become through resilience. Your mathematics is limited to what can be touched, but my vision reaches what is eternal. For it is written in my word, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" Matthew chapter 6, verse 26. If I care for every detail of nature, if I paint the sunset with colors that no artist can copy and feed the creatures that produce nothing, why do you believe I would leave my own daughter helpless? Your value is not in what you possess or what you have accumulated, but in who you are in me. I don't see your balance, I see your heart. I don't see your miscalculation, I see your faith which, even small and wounded, still insists on seeking me. Stop evaluating yourself by the standards of a world that doesn't know you and only values you for what you can produce. You fear scarcity because you forget that the owner of all gold and silver calls you by name and knows each of your needs even before you formulate them. While you anguish over what is leaving your hand, I am preparing what will enter through your door. What I see for your future cannot be calculated on a human spreadsheet, for my grace is immeasurable and my favor is endless. Do you feel that your identity has been stifled by material concerns lately? It's time to reclaim your crown as a beloved daughter. If this revelation about your true worth has brought a tear of hope to your eyes, leave your sign of gratitude and carry this light to another person who also feels diminished by life's circumstances. In the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with God for at this moment? Write in the comments your declaration of identity before heaven. I am valuable, but there is still a boundary you haven't crossed, a limit where your control ends and my rule truly begins. There is something you fear letting go of, but it is the only thing preventing you from experiencing the rest I promised. I feel the tension that runs down your neck and arms to the tips of your fingers, still trying to hold tightly to the reins of a life you can no longer steer alone. You fear that if you let go of control for just a second, everything you've built with so much sweat will crumble. I saw you squint today, trying to force a solution to that family problem or that financial gap, as if the power of your thoughts could change what only my arm can accomplish. But the limit of your strength is precisely where my rule finds the space to manifest. The truth is, you're exhausted from being the only person who seems to care about every detail, from being the architect of plans that others insist on tearing down. I saw the weariness in your feet when you took off your shoes at the end of the day, feeling the weight of having carried the world on your shoulders, while the silence of the house seemed to demand an answer from you that you don't yet have. You calculated that if you kept everything under tight control, the pain wouldn't reach you and tomorrow would be safe. But life is not a calculation of control. It is a surrender of love. Where your control ends, my peace reigns. Where your logic runs out, my providence overflows. For it is written in my word, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." Psalm 46:10. This invitation to be still is not a request for passivity, but a call to radical trust. When you stop trying to be the God of your own story, you allow me to be its Lord. I don't just want to help you solve your problems. I want to govern your life, leading you down paths that your anxiety would never allow you to see. Let go of the pen that tries to write the future with the ink of fear. Let me take the lead. You fear that chaos will take over if you stop fighting, but what you call chaos, I call divine reorganization. I am moving pieces you didn't even know existed, so that, in the end, you understand that my rule is much safer than your greatest control. The trembling in your hands as you let go of the reins will be replaced by the firmness of my hand holding yours. Do you feel this weight lifting from your chest now? It is the beginning of the freedom that only those who truly surrender know. If this word of surrender has found a home in your soul, or cherish this encounter and share it with someone else who is also trying to hold on to the world with weary hands. In the depths of your silence, what would your soul cry out if it had only one chance before God today? Write your surrender in the comments. I surrender. But there is still something I have saved for this early morning, a secret that involves your nights of crying, and that will change the meaning of everything you have been through until now. I saw you when the clock struck 3 and 7 in the morning, and the weight of the silence in your house seemed louder than any storm outside. I saw you sit on the edge of the bed, your chest tight with an anguish that has no name, but that has the face of all your worries. The room was dark, the air was cold, and the only light came from the screen of the cell phone you held with trembling hands, searching for an answer, for a sign, or just for something to make your heart stop racing. At that moment, you felt the deepest loneliness of your entire life, as if the universe were too vast a place and you were too small to be noticed. But the secret I've kept to tell you now at this meeting is that I was sitting right there, next to you, in the dark. While you wept softly so as not to wake anyone, or simply because you no longer had the strength to scream, I was collecting each drop that fell from your eyes. For you, those tears were signs of defeat, of weariness, and of a life's equation that simply doesn't add up. But for me, those tears were liquid prayers, the purest you have ever offered me. In my kingdom, nothing is lost, especially what is poured out in absolute silence. I know the taste of the salt in your tears and the exact reason for each one, from the hurt from that harsh word you heard, to the fear of not being able to sustain your tomorrow. But I haven't yet shown you everything I saw while you prayed. There is something about your past that you believe was in vain, but which I transformed into a seed. For it is written in my word. You keep track of my wanderings, you put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? Psalm 56, verse 8. See, my daughter, I have an exact record of your pain. I don't just witness your suffering, I document it because it's part of building your spiritual authority. Every sleepless night you spent, every time your pillow grew damp and you felt like heaven was made of bronze, I was writing a page of overcoming that you will still read with eyes full of joy. You thought you were being forgotten in the desert of dawn, but in truth, You were being selected for an intimate revelation. The world slept, but the creator of galaxies was attentive to the movement of your heart. In that moment of raw vulnerability, where there were no masks, no makeup, no social smiles, I saw your true essence. And what I saw was an exhausted warrior, but one who hadn't yet let go of my hand, even without realizing it. There is still something I am silently preparing, an answer being forged in the fire of your longest waits. You felt that time was passing and you were falling behind, but in the secret of this dawn, I am accelerating the processes that your mind said were stopped forever. What would you whisper to me if you knew I am sitting right next to you now, in the darkness of this room, listening even to the beating of your heart? Before we move forward, tell me, in the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with it today? If this word has reached your spirit, share this moment with someone who has also been having sleepless nights. Write this word of trust in the comments, sealing that I hear you. You have gathered my pain, but don't think that my work is limited to comforting your nights. I am about to move the walls of your house and the foundations of your relationships. What I will reveal to you about your reconstruction will require you to look at the wreckage with a courage you didn't even know you possessed. I saw when you looked at the walls of your house and felt that they held only the echoes of old arguments, the punishing silence of those who should love you, and the dust of dreams that time seems to have devoured. You calculated that restoring your family was too high a cost for your heart to bear, and on many days you thought it would be easier to close the doors for good, letting oblivion finish tearing down what remained. But what you call ruin, I call foundation. I am moving the invisible structures of your home, working on the cracks in your soul that no human repair could seal. While you sleep, or while you feign a smile so as not to worry the neighbors, my hand is mending the wounds and painting your future with colors you've forgotten how to use. Do you remember the smell of that dinner that ended in lonely tears? That afternoon when the sun shone through the living room window and you felt a desperate urge to flee, just to avoid facing the emptiness. At that moment, I was measuring every inch of your suffering to know exactly the size of the glory I will pour upon your table. I am not just renovating your roof, I am rebuilding respect, gentleness in words, and the desire to return home. I am restoring your worth in the eyes of those who have diminished you and transforming your personal desert into a garden where my presence will be the center of everything. For it is written in my word. And your descendants will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called the repairer of broken walls, the restorer of streets with dwellings. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 12. Understand, my daughter, that the reconstruction begins with you. I have raised you up as the supporting pillar of this house, and although you feel exhausted and weakened under the weight of the beams, it is my strength that keeps the roof above your head. You will see with your own eyes the change in the gaze of those people who today seem strangers under the same roof. You will hear words of forgiveness coming from lips that previously only distilled bitterness or indifference. My mathematics of restoration does not follow the logic of resentment. It follows the rhythm of my mercy, which is renewed every morning. Where the enemy said it would be the end of your lineage, I declare that it is only the beginning of a new story, written with the ink of my unwavering faithfulness. Can you imagine peace reigning again in the corridors of your life without the constant fear of tomorrow or the crushing weight of yesterday? If you believe that my hand is lifting every fallen stone from your home today, feel embraced by this divine care that never fails. Join us in this chain of prayer and restoration. Who would you like to be sitting at your table in perfect peace today? Write in the comments your declaration of ownership. My house is yours. But the journey is not yet over. We have reached the moment when everything I have told you so far will unite into a single truth that will be your shield forever. Now, I will give you the final key you came to seek in this encounter. Now that silence fills the space between your heart and my throne, I feel that your soul has finally begun to release the weight of that invisible calculator you have carried for so many decades. I saw the exact moment your breath became lighter, when you understood that you no longer need to anticipate every curve in the road, or add up every penny of hope to know if tomorrow will be safe. My plan for you never depended on your perfection or the accuracy of your calculations, but rather on the depth of my faithfulness, which transcends the centuries and reaches your present moment. You have spent your entire life trying to be the architect of a destiny that I had already designed with the colors of eternity, long before your first breath. What you call loss, I call space for the new. What you call error, I call necessary learning to bear the weight of the crown I am placing upon your head. Your human logic may tell you that it is too late, that the numbers don't add up, and that time has run out. But I am the Lord who stops the sun, who multiplies the oil, and who resurrects what the earth has given up for forgotten. Remember that promise I made to you at the very beginning of our conversation, that I would give you a spiritual key capable of supporting your steps when doubt tries to return. That key is the ultimate answer to all your fears of inadequacy. I whisper it now to your spirit, so that it echoes in every hallway of your house and in every cell of your body. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. This is not just a phrase, it is my mark of authority in you. I want you to rise from this chair, this sofa, or this bed, with the certainty that your strength does not come from what you have, but from who holds you. Write now in the comments, as an act of unwavering faith and total surrender, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. As you type each letter, feel my power flowing through your hands, renewing your mind and sealing the prophetic blessings I have released upon your life today. Our journey of intimacy is only beginning. There are still profound secrets that heaven wishes to reveal to you, mysteries I have kept for future messages and directions that will make your heart burn with joy. Do not turn away from my voice. Continue listening to what I have prepared for you in the message lists of this channel, for each word is a step on the ladder of your restoration. I still have much to show you, and my presence will continue to be your safe haven in each new dawn that I have already prepared for you. I am your Father, your God, and your best plan.